basically, to understand why the Igbos and why this particular group of Igbos that ends with me, we have to understand the difference between God's cult center and every other place around it. Okay, so once we've narrowed it down to West Africans, all right, well, it basically goes like this. Chukwu sends his son down from the sky, as the story goes. It's symbolic of this martial art line that is a falcon line, a son of the leopard, okay, which symbolizes God, right? Leopard, and this certain martial art body type, and this springing into action and exerting your spirit in combat. All right, so this is basically the royal line. This is the intelligent line. This is the line of people who is the natural leaders, okay, of all of mankind, but especially of the West African area. So all the small tribes there were tribes in rebellion. The big Yoruba tribe next door, a tribe in a rebellion, right? They branched off and left the king line. So the king line is going to produce the smartest people, and it's going to produce the greatest warriors, and this is what we see. We see the Igbos are more academically successful. We see them as the ones arguing with the British the most when they were there. We see the Arrow-Angle War. We kind of understand over time in the Biafran War that these are the royal guys and they're trying to emerge, and the British put a special emphasis on keeping them down. Masonry, in the Western Masonry comes from England, the British, and they spread it around the world, and they use it to make the English royal family and the English seem superior, and whatever Rothschilds and so on and so forth who live there. Very straightforward. So why these guys? Okay. So first, when we established that their royal supremacy in the area, right? Their martial arts supremacy in the area, okay, and their higher cause. Remember the accompanying moral code of martial arts. They're fighting moral wars. Okay, they're being cheated out of their rightful place. Horus wants to restore the divine order. Okay, these other guys who just kind of sit there and don't do anything, they're not trying to restore the divine order. They don't have the moral cause. They team up with the the Yorbas and the houses and everyone else team up basically on the Igbos and the small tribes around them, and they rape and kill them during the Nigerian Civil War. There's no excuse for that. Immediately, they sink down to hell, and the Igbos emerge as having the moral cause. Now that I've pointed this out, there's no turning back. They can't then say, well, let's make all the Igbos' children do evil things, and then say, look, those Igbos are so horrible. Let's make them the main con men in Nigeria, and da-da-da. They can't say this because it's too late. This has been exposed. They have vested interest in making them look bad. The Muslims, Saudi Arabia, and so on and so forth, has vested interest in making the northern Muslims look good. Okay, the Yorubas kind of sit there, play their part, and they tread lightly, so everyone wants to elevate them. Okay, they're not the ones making this point. They're not the ones trying to save the world. I am. Okay, and of course, the Igbos probably be sabotaged more as a result. So, let's look at the numbers now. One of my key arguments that has no counter-argument, nowhere near a viable counter-argument, is Nigeria is in the heart of Africa. It's in the pressure cooker. Okay, these guys have the highest cause. They're trying to merge. They're surrounded by guys. It's as if all the tribes in Africa, they studied their genes and say, look, we're going to surround them with the Hausas, the Yorubas, all these little tribes, the Ohafia, the Ibebo, and so on and so forth, the Ija, and all these people around the Niger Delta, and so on. Okay, and of course it is the N-word, Nigeria, the N-word. When they hate black people, they hate those black people. Set the stage to cheat them out of their rightful place. Treat you like a king, riding king. Anyway, so it's a pressure cooker. Nigeria, when I looked it up, has 193 million people. The next most populated country in Africa is Ethiopia with 99 million people. And after that, it is Egypt with 96 million people. Well, there's problematic. There's a lot of Arabs in Egypt. The Ethiopians are mixed with Semite. They don't have this West African martial arts form. They didn't emerge as smart. We could almost immediately rule them out. Their wars were against each other, and they were petty relative compared to the Nigerian Civil War, which is this profound holy war of the most smart African people, right? Trying to take their rightful place and trying to prevent being slaughtered and trying to benefit from the resources that fall in their region, and that Nigeria is unfairly kind of, and in a corrupt manner, fucking off. Okay. So we can pretty much overlook those two groups of people. They're not very impressive when it comes to martial art qualities. They're not that smart. Okay. They're not that effective athletically, and they're not that. They haven't pronounced themselves for good causes. Okay. We look at the history of Egypt. Look at the history of Ethiopia. It pretty much is open and shut. And also, when you look at Egypt, right, they failed. You know, it's obvious that these other groups came in with their magic card bitch and they killed off and chased off the martial artists with overwhelming numbers. And these guys returned back to Nigeria, the heart of the leopard's roaming ground, where the heart is the seat of intelligence in Egypt. So those people who had heart, who didn't want to stay for the sexual immorality, the magic card bitch, the Assyrians, the Persians, the Babylonians, and everybody and their mom that invaded, they left and said, no, we're not going to subject our women to this. We have a martial art code. You know, think samurai, the source of samurais versus a bunch of rapist, magic card, slave trading cowards. Okay. So then we after that, we go to the Congo. The Congo is an interesting country, right? There's the Mongo, there's the Congo. These are actually names of different tribes. We study them carefully. We quickly come to the conclusion they don't have the same physical prowess as the Igbos do, though they're related to some groups of Igbos in some way. They're too far away from the center royal core that has produced so many geniuses in the world. And they're not from their country isn't as pressure cooker prone, and their clashes are less impressive leading up to the Congolese War, which is actually one of the biggest wars in Africa, but it was fought for a petty reason compared to the Biafran War. We're talking resources, where they don't have the true moral motivation. It is a bunch of corrupt guys clashing with each other and corporations funding each side, and 4 million people die. So it doesn't have this kind of moral overtones. All right. You don't really have to look at just at one glance. I could have told you that without looking into the war at all, as I have in the past. Just one glance, one quick glance. Who are these people? How do they think? Right? It's part of martial arts, understanding yourself, understanding others. All right. This has been way too fucking long. But anyway, so the Horus idea. The hero is going to merge emergency, urgency, responsibility, right? Horus is the avenger, okay? So this guy's going to want to avenge immorality. These guys aren't emerging as in the martial art tradition. Horus is first and foremost a martial art deity. The warrior tribes that were followers of Horus, okay? First and foremost a martial art deity, okay? The Skywalker, skywalking, skylocking. He's a deity of royalty, okay? Of the royalty of all royalty. They don't emerge as the royalty of all royalty, as this martial art hero avenger with the pure, morally precise cause, comparing themselves to others because he's going to restore the divine order. He's not going to say, we are Africans, and do some communist bitch shit. He's going to say, it is this line and this line alone. When they don't do that, they're done. Okay, anyway. So number 2, the breeding, the building blocks. Okay, what do these other countries have to build with? Okay, these guys have the Igbos, the Yorubas, da. These are certain frequencies of bloodlines, the intelligence, the physical form, right? These are the Michael Jordans of Africa, where everyone else is more like a the average high school black basketball player in Africa, right? There's a significant intelligence gap and a significant physical gap, okay? Where the houses, for example, are like big brutes, where these guys are more kind of athletically lateral movement prone, okay? The ones who are the great martial artists, that is, not the average Igbo. All right. So the leopard has a grace for authority, okay? As we see in this book, it's kind of no shit. When he says it, it's kind of, yes, that's true. The leopard has a grace for authority, has a grace to kind of study what is going on and decide when to strike. Okay, so it's the same thing in the afterlife. Ra means mouth. This guy, that I am the mouth of God, and what I'm saying reflects his anger. And that goes back to, in the Bible, Lamentations 2:1 and Lamentations 2:14. Lamentations 2:1 says God is going to come back in the cloud of his anger. Anger is the cloud they're talking about in Revelations. We also have Lamentations 14, where... Well, Lamentations 2:14 proves my point. I don't have time to go over that as well. And so is Proverbs 16:14. A king's wrath is a messenger of death, but the wise will appease. Oh, and 2:14, the prophets don't expose the sin. That's what's supposed to do. The king speaks on God. His mouth, excuse me, not 6:14, fucking 16:10. God's verdict is on the lips of a king. His mouth should not err in judgment. Proverbs 16:10. So God, he is a prophet. I am a prophet. Okay. And if he doesn't expose their sin, they go astray, right? They don't get to have any chance of being saved, and that's is exposed in Lamentations 2:14. Anyway, let's just shoot through this. I'm running out of fucking time. Shit pissed me off. All right, so The numbers, the pressure cooker. So point 3 is the numbers, the pressure cooker. Number 1 is the Horus qualities himself, right? Martial art hero, Avenger, Skywalking, Skylaw King, Skylaw Core. He's going to talk about being the one, the deity of royalty, the one martial art line, the one king line. He's going to make that argument. Okay, he's going to be the core, and when you compare I son, a parent, alpha parent, it's going to be clear. And it is clear when you look at the pictures, and I should have posted that video by now with a picture of me and my dad and my grandpa, and how it connects to martial arts and so on and so forth. All right, number 3, the pressure cooker. Number 4, the leopard's lethal grace of authority. Number 5, the sabotage. Who is sabotaged like the Igbos? Who is sabotaged like me? You don't see that. They've been sabotaged when the British were there. They were sabotaged when colonialism first ended and the Nigerian Civil War broke out. Okay, and they're sabotaged today, cheated out of their rightful place. Sabotage relative to what you would be accomplishing. Where are the famous Igbo intellectuals in popular culture? No, they're kind of brushed aside, and other races take credit for their work. Number 6, the war history, Biafran War, and so on, Anglo-Arab War, and exactly why they're fought. Number 7. The spite in the N-word, right? Why of all countries in Africa was it Nigeria and Niger? Nigeria is much more populated than Niger is. Okay, why was it the N-word? Okay, N-I-A, I alpha, Niger, and they use the N-word, right? I alpha, and Niger is said to mean black and so on and so forth. So this is the black people they hate the most. Number 8, the intelligence. Number 9, the body structure. Figure it out. You see the diversity. If you study the different body structures carefully, and you study my body structure in the picture I have of me next to my dad, you see this generational body structure. You can see that this is a more superior martial art body structure. All right. Number 10 is the apparent, the comparison. Okay. So it's built for this, right? I'm built for this. We see the builders and so on and so forth. Number 11, the desire to achieve destiny. Number 12, it's like George of the Jungle comes to mind. Okay, their races against blacks, they call them monkeys, and in Tarzan the ape, who's hella smart. Nigerians are like these bigger guys. So among their gene pool is these big guys who are very smart. And that's what George of the Jungle is made after, this big Igbo guy who's smart. Anyway, so we see the diversity. Okay, so we also see in America, women are choosing the spirit of Crowley, right, with their occult thing, and they're shunning the royalty from Martin Luther King's tribe. It's like the guy who's morally precise from Martin Luther King's tribe. And of course, they're fuming me and trying to make me stumble on my words. For every time I stumble on my words, rest assured, I'm cussing out them, their families, their ancestors, everything. I'm saying you're sniveling worms when I stumble on my words. You're sniveling worms. God hates you for doing this to me. Every time there's anything in my videos that suggests that I'm not telling the truth because of their sabotage, okay, I'm communicating you're done, okay? You're done. The leopards in the afterlife are waiting pissed. The falcon royalty are waiting pissed. What you're doing is testifying against you. By far, it is stupid for you to do it. And we will see you, motherfuckers. We will see you, and you will not like how it turns out. I will make it fucking clear to you in your fucking souls, if you even have souls, or whatever way I can, that you made the wrong choice. You were stupid fucks that should have obeyed me, and now you will suffer.